Oh, fuck, was I already live? You're live. What's up, world? Everybody good? Can everybody hear me okay? Let me see if I can get this thing to be brighter. If it shuts off, I'll start it again. If I can do that. Yeah, there it is. Paused. But we're back. All right, awesome. Yeah, everybody. Let me see if I can scoot this over a little bit. What's up? Can you play a line from Lie? Oh my God, I don't know if I even know that. Potentially my kid is going to be screaming. She's having a tough night. So if you hear, a 9-year-old screaming, go fuck yourself. That's what we got. All right, let's see. I've been doing a lot of teching and stuff all day. It's driving me crazy. I'm ready to not be in front of a computer and not be, yeah. Anyway, how you doing? What a night. I just finished watching my favorite porn star on Instagram. Awesome. There's probably some young people present, so I will err on the side of less F-bombs, although my kid will probably provide many of them. That's the beauty of what I've created over here in San Francisco. Let me think. The only other thing I want to do is put my cable somewhere else. All right. Yeah. Hi, everybody. There's so many people coming in. Newest member of the Geek Squad. I know, dude. If you guys, anybody needs any help with computers and or setting up their wireless printer or router, I am your man at this point. I am the king of things I never wanted to know how to do. Let's start with a song, and then, or we can start with questions, actually. I had like a list, like I'm a late night TV host. Good morning. And then like I come in and I'm like, drinking Moroccan mint. Nummy tea. Nummy? Nummy. Come back to Connecticut, man. I'm not going fucking near Connecticut until this whole thing happens. Oh, you, Eric. I definitely can't come back to Connecticut. Not for a while. Hello to Ann Arbor. Kill the Lights. Oh, I could try that. I had a bunch of songs, so I'm probably not going to do that, but I had a bunch idea. Have you done the Catch cover yet? No. But when I do, I'll let you know. People had good questions. Let me see if I can find them on this machine. Yeah, push a button. And okay, let's see. Let's see, favorite ice cream flavor. This is a terribly boring answer. I'm going to answer it. And vanilla. I'm a vanilla. I mean, like, burnt caramel or whatever. I can get crazy. I can go deep, but if push comes to shove, vanilla. What does that say about me? That I'm a simple man. Ain't too much I need. Asking for all your love. Remember that song, Simple Man by Junkyard? Nope. All right. How annoyed were you by the crowd in DC last time? I don't remember, but probably annoyed. I don't hide it particularly well. Who's my favorite lyricist? That's a great question. I mean, Dylan has to be number one, although there's so many others. Do you know what I mean? John Prine, Joni Mitchell, Lou Reed, Nick Cave is pretty unstoppable. Anyway, that's my question. Oh no, George Lopez is live too on Instagram. How are you getting ice cream? Oh my God, a lot of ice cream questions. Ordering it, and then it shows up. It's awesome. Then I eat it. Great. Read any good? Let's see. What you're reading? Currently reading a book called Autumn by Allie Smith. It's pretty good. How did I meet my bride in college? She was my RA. So I saw her. She was the first. Cat or dog? Both. 2 cats, 1 dog. All right, we'll get back to that. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm losing my mind a little bit, but that's to be expected. Everything sound good? Let's do a song. This is a new song, and obviously we lost out on Hal Wilner, who I didn't really know very much about, but have learned about since, and Adam Schlesinger last week, and then of course John Prine, and I mean it's just kind of going on and on. I wrote this song. It's going to be on the new record. I've played it a couple times live. Thought I'd do it as a, as a tribute. My phone knows what I'm thinking. Yeah, I never have to spell. And the sun can power cities, and my car can drive itself. It's beautiful or tragic. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's science fiction magic or just Rome before it fell. So yeah, the future's here, but you're not. So what's the use of all the miracles that I got? Science and progress, got nothing on sunsets. Feet in the sand, making plans in the dark. Oh yeah, the future's here, but you're not. They tore down our old apartment, built 120 stories high. It looks over the park and it's state of the art. Couldn't afford it if we tried. The more that you remember, the more you wanna fix. Like trying to swim the ocean with a backpack full of bricks. So yeah, the future's here, but you're not. So what's the use of all the miracles that I got? Science and progress, got nothing on sunsets. Feet in the sand, making plans in the dark. Oh yeah, the future's here, but you're not. You're not. You're not. How am I supposed to live this life without you? How am I supposed to live this life without you now? How am I supposed to live this life without you? How am I supposed to live this life without you now? So yeah, the future's here, but you're not. So what's the use of all the miracles that I got? Science and progress, got nothing on sunsets. Feet in the sand, making plans in the dark. Oh yeah, the future's here, but you're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. You're not. Heavy jam, heavy time, heavy things. Heavy things, heavier things. Hey-o. All right, let's see what else was on my list. Play that, do some more questions. Yeah. Have you considered writing a song about social distancing and what's going on nowadays? I haven't. I would love to hear your take on it. Thank you. These are times we weren't prepared for. True. Definitely have not thought about writing a song about social distancing. I feel like all my songs are about social distancing on some emotional level. Or, you know what I'm saying? They're all a little bit distant. Let's see what else I got here. More questions. Let me look in my question bag. That's not code. Oh my God, what a great name for like your pants. Yeah, just gonna look inside the question bag. And that brings up Brian Levy's question, who I went to high school with. Boxers or briefs? I wear boxer briefs. So there's that. Favorite say anything quote or scene? Oh man, there's so many. The one where Lloyd goes to talks to the dad about what his future plans are is pretty incredible. The one where they're sitting on the curb on a Saturday night outside of a gas and sip. That's a great scene. I mean, Cameron's just so good. What else? Any chance we will get another live album soon? Oh, just you wait, folks that want that. Folks that don't, you still can wait, but it's not going to be as exciting. I don't know. There's some stuff planned. You know what I'm saying? Some crazy quarantine fun. What else? Dissed in Malibu. Dissed in the Malibu is a great line. Someone asked me a great question about my favorite Indigo Girls lyric. I was looking, I'm looking for it now, but man, this is a disaster. This interface. Is your black acoustic special and why? It's only special because Collings made it and I love Collings guitars, and I got it made because I love Amy Ray from Indigo Girls, and I always wanted to have a black guitar because she had a black guitar when I first saw them in the Closer to Fine video, and I thought she was just the coolest human on the planet, and I wanted to be her, and I wanted to make music like her and like Emily, and so anyway, that's why that's special. How many songs of mine contain the word tongue? A lot. I like the tongue. So the Indigo Girls question was, I even wrote down some answers to these questions. Favorite Indigo Girls lyric. There's a song called Fugitive that's on Swamp Ophelia. And if you can get a chance to find this song, Fugitive, and listen all the way through, and there's the apex moment in the song when everything sort of comes together in this beautiful sort of crescendo moment. Amy sings, "Baby, I said, it's all in our hands. Got to learn to respect what we don't understand. We are fortunate ones, I swear." And Emily harmonizes with her, and it's like, it is a magical moment. And it's like the drums kick in. I think Jerry Murata's playing drums. And she goes, "Yeah, baby, I said, it's all in our hands. Got to learn to respect what you don't understand. We are fortunate ones." And then, the harmonies are so good. And people ask me a lot about John Prine, obviously. There's a song called In Spite of Ourselves that has been blowing my mind lately. But obviously my favorite John Prine lyric that came up first, there's a ton, but is from Sam Stone. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. Jesus Christ died for nothing, I suppose. I mean, that he was next level singing about a group of humans that like country music used to sing about, pretends to sing about now, but he did it in this like, in like a Lou Reed, he and Lou Reed, like where it felt like they had their finger on the pulse of a thing that you maybe didn't have to ever, you maybe didn't know anybody that was ever like it, but when you heard it, you were like, you knew exactly what was happening. So that's that. Let's see. Matt will only answer questions which are sent in. That's not actually true, but there's like two things going. I feel like I'm playing Fortnite or something. Let's do another song. I don't want to get too far off. And for those of you who want to know, Homeless Youth Alliance is tonight's charity, and they work with kids, houseless kids on the street in the Haight. And they do all sorts of, they're like a super grassroots organization, and they help marginalized youth that are houseless and on the streets, and they're awesome, and they're very small, and they need our help. And so if you can donate, I think on Instagram in the stories before this, it's there. And then I think we'll post something in Facebook, and we'll post something in Instagram as well. But Homeless Youth Alliance, just go Google them as well, and just give them $10. If you have $10, $5 if you have $5, $100 if you have $100. They're doing great work here and we're trying to get get people off the streets, and for some reason it is not working well. I mean, it's working okay, but what do I know? It just seems like it's not going smoothly. All right, next. Oh, Def Leppard. Yeah, we'll do it next time. Let's do this one that I want to do because somebody mentioned it. Oh, there was a thing online about favorite opening lyrics, and this was someone said my favorite opening lyric was, and they did this song, and I was like, oh my God, that's a neat lyric. So I thought I'd do it. And also Earthquake Weather, which I figured out, but I don't think I'll play it. Remember this one? I'd kill anyone who treat you as bad as I do. That's I've had fun figuring that out, but I didn't print the lyrics. So I'll do it next time, I promise. But that's my favorite for opening lyric I've ever written. I'd kill anyone who'd treat you as bad as I do. Oof. I was not an awesome husband. That's just how it works. But you figure it out. I saw. It's amazing, the look in your eyes, like you could save me. But you won't even try. Then you tell me again, everything will be alright. I'm surrounded, and you spill, all alive and brand new. I'll forget about you long enough to forget why I need to. I saw pictures in my head, and I swear I saw you opening up again. 'Cause I would be heavenly if, baby, just rescue me now. I'm surrounded, and you spill, all alive and brand new. Shit, I repeated the same verse over and over. What's the real verse? Does anybody know? Oh God, anybody help me with your crazy ass. I want to get this right for you. What is it? No? We'll just sing this one, I guess. I'm surrounded. Plays. You guys aren't helping. You're fucking asking for what you want. I need your help. I need your help. It's like asking a drowning man if he's got change for $1. I totally forgot what the lyric is. Oh, if I told you, that's it. If I told you that I'm sorry, would you tell me that you were wrong? Or would you hold me down forever if I came to you for answers? I saw pictures in my head. I swear I saw you opening up again. 'Cause I would be heavenly if, baby, you just rescue me now. The days are drifting away from me. Still wake up, burning through everything. It's all I know. I wish somebody would save me now. Save me now. Save me now. Save me now. And I saw pictures in my head, and I swear I saw you opening up again. 'Cause I would be heavenly if, baby, just rescue me now, love. I got pictures of you in my head. I saw you opening up again. I would be heavenly if maybe you just rescue me now. Come on, rescue me now. Ooh. Sorry, I clammed that up. And I think there's like a delay because I was like, anybody know what the next line is? And there was nothing. There was like, hey, do you like milk? And like Fritos are funny, you know, aren't they? And then all of a sudden it was like a flood of the lyric that I was missing. That was dope. So thank you. Opening lines, favorite ones. Favorite opening line of anyone. Amy Mann's Good For Me starts with, what a waste of a smoke machine. So Amy Mann has my favorite. Amy Mann has my favorite opening verse. One of them, you know, top three. Today's the 4th of July. Another June has gone by. And as they light up my town, I just think, what a waste of gunpowder and sky. I mean, holy crap. Holy crap. I want to read something about creativity that was super cool. I'm going blind. That's not as sensual. Anyway, this is from a book called If You Want to Write by Brenda Euland. You can't see this because it's backwards, but If You Want to Write by Brenda Euland. And she talks about creativity, and I thought this was pretty awesome. I love the idea of this. You know how all children have their creative power? You have all seen things like this. The little girls in our family used to give play after play. They wrote the plays themselves. They were very good at plays too, interesting, exciting, and funny. They acted in them. They made the costumes themselves. They constructed the stage. They made their own advertising. I'm kind of hopping around, but yet these small 10-year-olds were working with feverish energy, right? For what reward, it says. For what reward? A few pins and pennies. Yet these small 10-year-olds were working with feverish energy and endurance. If they had worked that hard for school, it probably would have killed them. They were working for nothing but fun, for that glorious inner excitement. It was the creative power working in them. It was hard work, but there was no pleasure or excitement like it, and it was something never forgotten. But this joyful, imaginative, impassioned energy dies out of us very young. Why? Because we do not see that it is great and important. Because we let dry obligation take its place. Because we don't respect it in ourselves and keep it alive by using it. And because we don't keep it alive in others by listening to them. For when you come to think of it, the only way to love a person is not to coddle them and bring them soup when they're sick, but by listening to them and seeing and believing in the God, in the poet in them. For by doing this, you keep the God and the poet alive and you make it flourish. I thought that was heavy and awesome. Obviously, God is a pretty loaded word, but you know what I'm saying? Whatever your God is, energy of the universe, all that stuff. Yeah. Let's do this one. Oh, I feel like I should do I wanted to do this one. What book? It's called If You Want to Write by Brenda Euland. I'll post about it later. I'll do Back Together next week. I got to pull the lyrics out of that for that one because it's like a lot of lyrics. And I wrote a lot of different lyrics. And so I always sing the wrong ones. And it's a bummer. Let's do that one. Lil Two Lins. I don't know what else. Okay. I'm not going to. I love that everyone's. Don't stop recommending songs. Just because I don't play them, don't stop, please. It's super flattering, and at some point it will inspire me to do it. But as I get more sort of like, as my hard drive gets more full, it becomes more difficult for me to remember things. Oh, and I wanted to show you this. I'm gonna put this picture up. I'm putting this up in my room. My buddy Clam did this. You can't really see it. It's incredible. This mic is in the way. My buddy Clam Lynch, who's a local artist who's incredible. He has an Instagram page and he has a lot of things to look at and for sale. He's incredibly talented. Clam Lynch, baby. So this is one of my favorites of his. And I decided, since I'm quarantined and cleaning the whole house, I might as well put it up. I've been sort of like not knowing where I want to put it for a long time. And I'm like, I'm going to commit to this because we're only getting older. Still got the same old number. Still drive the car you hate. Still fighting with my father. Still staying out too late. Still leave the back door open. Still let the dog escape. Maybe I'm deep down hoping you come back to yell at me like you used to do. And you were right, I'm just a stubborn fool who's living in the past. We were young and we were free. All your friends were friends with me. Swimming in our clothes when the beach was closed. Midnight on New Year's Eve. If you're having trouble, I got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. And when you write your movie, your autobiography, and can't reach the sweetest details, feel free to call on me. Write how I made you shiver, the ground underneath us shook. The devil is in the details. He and I get on real good like we used to do. And you were right, I'm just a stubborn fool who's living in the past. We were young and we were free. All your friends were friends with me. Swimming in our clothes when the beach was closed. Midnight on New Year's Eve. And if you're having trouble, baby, holding on to memories, I got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. Yeah, I got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. Oh, 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 you know it's ancient history. And if you're having trouble, baby, holding on to memories, I got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. 'Cause we were young and we were free, and all your friends were friends with me. Swimming in our clothes when the beach was closed. Midnight on New Year's Eve. And if you're having trouble, baby, holding on to memories, I got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. 'Cause we were young and we were free, and all your friends were friends with me. Swimming in our clothes when the beach was closed. Midnight on New Year's Eve. And if you're having trouble, baby, holding on to memories, got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. Yeah, got a king-size bed and a PhD in the way it used to be. Fun. Oh, I love that song. I am proud of that song. I mean, I'm proud of all my children. I used to watch All My Children in college. All My Children, yeah. It was terrible, but let's see. What else can we look at? I think it's someone asked me, is this a fun thing to do? It's fun to connect because I'm losing my fucking mind. And it feels nice to get the energy out, but running all this myself and sitting, I feel like I stand and I like to move, and in order to get things to sound good, I kind of have to sit. And so it's moments. It's almost like there's probably kids watching, but it's like, you know, when you almost have a you know, when you're like you know, and then it gets interrupted. So that you know, that happens occasionally here where I'll like be in it and then I'll clam a chord or whatever because I haven't played. And then sometimes like that, it felt very fluid and it felt real good. So anyway, you know what I'm saying. Why don't I play my 12 string? I do. It just I don't right now. I love my 12 string. I'll do a Def Leppard cover at some point. And let's see, was there any other questions that I really wanted to get to? There was a bunch. I'm sorry if I don't get to your questions for like a second week of questions, but let me flip all the way to the end here and see if there's like one or two I can get. And then I want to read this. Are there any songs that were initially too hard for you to sing live? Yeah. Bulletproof Weeks has sort of historically been a song I don't play live. I played it a bunch more on the last tour than I have in the past, but it's a really difficult song it's just kind of heartbreaking. So I've gotten used to it, and I've gotten far enough away from the experience that it works. But someone asked me about Tom Waits, and is he going to go down in the pantheon of his, as something about the great songwriter pantheon or whatever. Tom Waits is one of he's like John Prine, he's like Dylan, he's like Joni, he's just so endlessly good. I mean, the one that I always cite for people who are like, because he's got so many good songs, but Downtown Train is such a stupidly good song. Outside Another Yellow Moon has punched a hole in the night, like, and the downtown trains are full with all them Brooklyn girls. They try so hard to break out of their little world. You move your hand and they scatter like crows. They're all thorns without a rose. I mean, I'm kind of flubbing it because I don't have it in front of me. But that inspired Bulletproof Weeks, actually. Maybe I'll do that song. I've never played that song. Maybe next week I could do it. Like, outside another yellow moon has punched a hole in the nighttime, yeah. Oh my God. I know your window and I know it's late. Whew. Oh my God. Let me just read you these lyrics and then I won't bug you too much with this kind of stuff, but I just have to read you these lyrics. Just because they're so good. And I love Use Me. Outside another yellow moon has punched a hole in the nighttime, yes. I climb through the window and down to your street. I'm shining like a new dime. The downtown trains are full with all those Brooklyn girls. They try so hard to break out of their little worlds. Will you wave your hand and they scatter like crows? They have nothing that'll ever capture your heart. They're just thorns without the rose. Be careful of them in the dark. Oh, and if I was the one, you chose to be your only one. Oh, baby, can't you hear me now? Can't you hear me now? And then in the next verse, he says, I know your window and I know it's late. And I know your stairs and your doorway. I walk down your street and past your gate. I stand by the light at the four-way. You watch them as they fall. Oh, baby, they'll all have heart attacks. They stay at the carnival, but they'll never win you back. I mean, he's just so good. Oh, I know your window and I know it's late. I mean, how many times in your life have you been obsessed with somebody and you've memorized their every pattern? And like you've driven by their house. I know your window and I know it's late. I know you. So good. All right, let's end here. Let's do this. I'll do Downtown Train next week. I wanted to, in full disclosure, I really wanted to play Sometimes It Snows in April, but I'm so slightly tired of the maudlin acoustic jammy jams that happen online because nobody rocks, but or people rock, but not me and not people like me. But like I figured out Sometimes It Snows in April, which is one of my favorite songs. And I figured it out last week in anticipation of playing it this week. So I'll just play a bit of it. Tracy died soon after a long fought civil war. I mean, I don't know if I can just play it. It's so good. Just but I'll just do the chord. Sometimes it snows in April. Sometimes I feel so bad, so bad. Sometimes I wish that life was never ending. And all good things, they say, never last. Just that chorus, Prince, come on. I'll do it again for those of you who weren't paying attention. Sometimes it snows in April. Sometimes I feel so bad, so bad. Sometimes I wish that life was never ending. All good things, they say, never last. The greatest Prince song of all time. I often dream of heaven, 'cause I know that Tracy's there. And there was a moment, I hadn't cried when Prince died. And I hadn't cried. Jennifer Nettles called me, texted me, and then called me and said, "Did you hear about Prince?" And I hadn't. I was at breakfast at Hugo's in Los Angeles. And I didn't cry for like 2 weeks or whatever, a week and a half, it felt like. And then D'Angelo played Sometimes It Snows in April on Fallon. And I rewatched it the other day to make sure, because there's a bunch of weird chords like this. And, like he's just he was the master. So I'm watching this and I'm hearing it and it's moving. And I'm like, wow, I remember how good this was. And I remember sitting on my couch and he sings, "I often dream of heaven." And I know that Prince is there. And he said it and he started to cry and kind of pulled away from the mic. And it was like, because the song says, "I often dream of heaven and I know that Tracy's there." And he says, "I know that Prince is there." And it was like, I just remember, and watching it on YouTube, I lost my shit again because it was just it was so good. D'Angelo is really one of our best, and that song is so good. So maybe I'll do it next week, although it's for people who don't like it, it's like gonna be a slog because it's a long song with weird chords. And anyway, I wanted to read you this story before I played the last song. I wanted to thank you all. I wanted to, just like last week, I wanted to pimp a couple great charities to give to. Tonight, we're focusing on the Homeless Youth Alliance, which is a San Francisco-based charity that helps. I'll just read they help the youth who live on the street, and they help them get rehabilitated, and they help them, with addiction, and they're just there for them. And they're a very, very, very grassroots small organization. And the city's only grassroots harm reduction coalition designed by and for marginalized and underserved youth experiencing houselessness in the Haight. So it's a very specific part of the city, and they're doing work with the city to try and make it work. In Los Angeles, I said it last week, there's the Sidewalk Project is another great organization that's worth your time and worth your money. They're really on the ground doing things. There's like 3 or 4 of them. Sidewalk Project can be found on Facebook. And I might focus the next one of these on that. I don't know. I just don't know if anybody's giving now, because it's such a weird time and nobody's has money. But I urge you, if you have any money at all, to give to these charities. Homeless Youth Alliance and Sidewalk Project. And I've also been tuning in every day to Against the Stream meditation. Someone asked me if I was losing my mind, and I have been kind of, but it's nice to try to meditate and try and be focused and try and be mindful and learn a bunch of stuff. They have a bunch of really cool punk rock, alternative, like badass human beings teaching Buddhism. So if you get a chance, go check that out. They do streams twice a day. You're eating chicken wings. Oh my God, believe me. I went through my eat my feelings period. I'm past it, I hope. All right, this is a story that I'll end with, and then I'll play the song because people have wanted it. It says, this is Susanna Melvoin, who at the time was dating Prince. And this is a story about a song called Starfish and Coffee. And if I can make it through without crying, it'll be a miracle. It's a long one, so I'll just try and read it kind of quick. I remember Minneapolis vividly. The air smells of water and earth, and the lakes that spread throughout the city become deserted of people. I loved it, and I loved what was to become an extremely beautiful time in my life. I can narrow down one particular day in 1986 that was particularly special. The day I wrote Starfish and Coffee with Prince. Sitting around the kitchen table would be Prince, his engineer Susan Rogers, and myself. It was a time Susan and myself spent every day with Prince, recording or keeping each other company. Bear with me, the story's worth it. Prince and I spent many hours together, either in the studio working or driving around Minneapolis talking to each other and listening to music. We talked about our histories and our secrets, and on a couple of occasions I told him stories of a 12-year-old girl I'd known named Cynthia Rose. My sister Wendy and I knew Cynthia intimately because we shared 6 years together in a classroom, plus a bus ride to school with her. It was on these bus rides that I got to know Cynthia. Cynthia never had much interest outside of her own personal space, so watching her was an unedited version of what was going on in her head. I'm certain if Cynthia were in school today, she'd still be as interesting and extraterrestrial as she was back then. I think Cynthia was dropped off from another world, a world filled with extraordinary images, images only Cynthia knew the meaning behind. Her favorite number for many years was the number 12. I knew this because she'd rock back and forth in her seat, asking if you knew what her favorite number was for the day. It was always a shock to her that anyone knew that her favorite number was 12. And I'd say, I think it's 12, right, Cynthia? And she was totally amazed and joyous that I'd guessed it, right? I mean, who would have guessed it? I'd watch how she would ecstatically experience the world. Cynthia would tell you over and over again how amazing and meaningful the number 12 was. I'd ask her why. The answer never changed. It was always because it makes me happy. Said as she etched a huge happy face with her finger on the damp, foggy bus window. Most of those bus rides, Cynthia sat rocking in her seat, gently repeating her favorite number. Cynthia would also tell me what she had for breakfast, and every day it was the same: starfish and pee-pee. I never understood the combo meal, and frankly, nobody else could either. This seemed like a deal breaker for most kids. More importantly, the kids in our class had no interest in how Cynthia came to get her morning breakfast. I thought it was tender and funny, and I listened to her tell me anything she wanted to say, whether it was firmly planted on Earth or from her planet of tender-hearted people who love numbers and draw smiley faces on foggy bus windows. Sixth grade was the last year our class was to be together, and it was the first bus ride of that year that I noticed something was different about Cynthia. She sat quietly in her seat, staring out the window. When we arrived at school, and as the bus pulled up into the lot, Cynthia turned my way, looked into my eyes, and asked me if I wanted to know something special. I couldn't wait. We stepped outside the bus and walked a couple of feet when she leaned into me and she said, "Do you want to know what my favorite number is?" And I said, "It's 12, right?" Cynthia's answer, "It's 20." Then, in her beautiful Martian-like way, she smiled into her hands and said, "Because it really makes me happy." And she ran off in her Groucho Martian kind of way, repeating the number 20. That year turned out to be a very funny year for Cynthia and myself. On one occasion, I happened to leave class for a visit to the ladies' room. I'm about to walk out of the bathroom when I hear the sound of water splashing and giggling coming from one of the stalls. I somehow had a feeling it was Cynthia Rose. The giggle sounded unattached to a real person. It sounded naive and desperate, almost like the sound of crying into a muffled jacket, and hysterical. So as I knocked on the stall door, I asked if it was Cynthia. More giggles, no answer. I looked under the stall and saw Cynthia's shoes. Right as I asked her what she was doing in there, she threw the stall door open. There she was with a big red apple in between her teeth, soaking wet hair and face. She took a bite of the apple and said, "I was bobbing for apples in the toilet. It's so much fun." I was horrified by what she was doing. Cynthia looked at me in what was to be the last time we would have eye-to-eye contact. She became long-faced and reflective, something I'd never seen from her. Cynthia took my hand as I grabbed as many paper towels as I could gather to dry her off. Without a peep, she looked at my hands as they dried her hands. This is the story about the exceptional Cynthia Rose, who was just one of 25 kids: Kevin, Christopher, Wendy, Sharon, and Susanna, just to name a few of us, who spent every day together for 6 years. For those 6 years, we started off every day greeting Miss Kathleen at her classroom door. We'd be in line outside the classroom. She'd open the door, and one by one, we'd greet her and shake her hand and walk to our seats for just another day at school. And all of us, oh, I got emotional. I can't believe it. I think it's being locked inside. And all of us were ordinary, all of us except for Cynthia Rose. This is a true story. I'd tell Prince every so often when he asked about it. We both agreed that she was worth writing about, this tender-hearted girl. We both wondered if Cynthia Rose was still living and still number drunk, and if it still made her happy. One fall afternoon in Minnesota, I was at Prince's kitchen table when he came up the stairs from his studio, sat next to me, and asked if I would tell him the whole story of Cynthia Rose again. A few hours later, he asked me to write it down for him. On that afternoon, when Prince asked if I'd write down this story, I had no idea that what was going to transpire downstairs in his studio. Prince requested that I not go downstairs until he was finished with the track. But just before he went back downstairs, he sat down at the table and he said to me, "The pee-pee's got to go." Then asked if coffee was a doable instead. Yes, 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 of course. 10 hours later, Susan came upstairs to get me. I walked into the studio and Prince was standing at the console with a tired, gentle smile on his face. And he said, "Here it is." And he played the song. So I'll end with this. I got sap. Thanks for letting me cry on social media for you. It was 7:45 or 9. Greet the teacher, Miss Kathleen. Well, first was Kevin, then came Lucy. Third in line was me. Now all of us were ordinary compared to Cynthia Rose. She always stood at the back of the line, smile beneath her nose. Her favorite number was 20, and every single day, if you asked her what you had for breakfast, this is what she'd say: starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, tangerine, a side order of ham. And if you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Oh, starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam. Ooh. Do-do-do-do. Cynthia wore the prettiest dress with different colored socks. Sometimes I wonder if the mates were in her lunchbox. Now me and Lucy opened it when Cynthia wasn't around. Yeah, Lucy cried, almost died. Do you know what we found? Starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, tangerine, a side order of ham. And if you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Oh, starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam. Cynthia had a happy face, just like the one she'd draw on every wall, on every school. But it's all right, it's for a worthy cause. Go on, Cynthia, ooh, keep singing starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, tangerine, side order of ham. And if you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Oh, starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam, starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds, tangerine, side order of ham. And if you set your mind free, baby, maybe you understand. Oh, starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam. All right. Thanks for hanging. I hope you had a good time. That was a long one, 48 minutes. That story was long, but it's great. I hope you had a good time. We'll do it again next week. I'll figure out some other stuff. I realized there was a thread of creativity and children running through everything I played tonight, which is wacko wild. I love that kind of stuff. Anyway, stay safe, be well, treat each other with kindness. Real quickly, again, let's go over Homeless Youth Alliance. We're going to post about that. And yeah. Sidewalk Project. Awesome. And that's it. Be well. Talk soon. Thanks a lot for tuning in and stream.